Okay, guys, we're back. This is WinterhelmGames, and we're back with another collection of horror stories from Twisted Tales. This one is 3 terrifying true shopping mall horror stories, so sit back, relax, and let's get into it. You know what to do.
Let me tell you about a night that chilled me to the bone. A night working as a security guard in the quiet hours of a local shopping mall. It was a typical shift, or so I thought, until I encountered something I couldn't explain. I was patrolling the lower level of the mall, making sure everything was in order, and that no intruders had slipped in or hung around after closing. The last store in the mall had closed about an hour prior, and the mall was eerily quiet, with only the faint hum of the air conditioning breaking the silence. As I made my rounds, I noticed a figure off in the distance. It was a child, seemingly lost and wandering aimlessly near one of the closed stores. I approached cautiously. My flashlight was the only beam of light in the dimly lit corridor. "Hey there, little one," I called out, trying to sound friendly and reassuring. But the child didn't respond. They just stood there, their back turned to me, their presence seeming eerily off to me. I walked closer, my footsteps echoing in the empty corridor. "Are you okay? Do you need help finding your parents?" I asked again, hoping to get a response. That's when the child turned around and I froze in shock. The child's face was pale, almost translucent, with hollow eyes that seemed to stare right through me. I felt a wave of unease wash over me, a feeling that something was very wrong.
Yeah,
"Where are your parents?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady despite the creeping sense of dread that had settled in. The child didn't speak. Instead, they pointed down the hallway, towards the abandoned wing of the mall that had been closed off for years. My instincts told me to stay away, but I couldn't ignore the silent plea in the child's eyes. I followed their direction, my footsteps echoing loudly in the empty corridor. As I approached the abandoned wing, I felt a sudden drop in temperature, a chill that seemed to seep into my bones. The air was heavy, and I was filled with apprehension as I stepped into the darkened area. My flashlight barely pierced the darkness. I called out, hoping to find the child or anyone else who might be there. But there was no response, just the eerie silence of the deserted wing. Then I heard a faint whisper, like a ghostly voice carried in the wind. It sounded like a child's voice, but there was something really unnatural about it, something that made my skin crawl. I followed the sound, my heart pounding in my chest. The whispers led me deeper into the abandoned wing, towards a locked door that seemed to beckon me. I hesitated, unsure of what I would find on the other side. But curiosity got the better of me, and I fumbled with my keys until I found the one that unlocked the door. As I pushed it open, a wave of cold air rushed out, carrying with it a musty smell of decay. I stepped inside, my flashlight illuminating the darkness. What I saw next will haunt me forever. It was an old toy store, long abandoned and covered in dust. There was a tricycle that moved as if someone had just gotten off, but there was no one there. No child, no ghostly figure, just an empty toy store frozen in time. I stood there, trying to make sense of what I had just witnessed. Had it all been a hallucination? A trick of the mind? But then I heard it again. The whisper, louder this time, closer. It seemed to come from the darkness behind me, from a corner of the room shrouded in shadows. I turned, my heart racing, and that's when I saw her, the ghostly child, standing there with a sad smile on her face. "Please help me," she whispered, her voice echoing in the empty room. "I'm lost. I can't find my way home." I wanted to run, to flee from this supernatural encounter, but something compelled me to stay, to listen to her story. She told me that while she was shopping with her mother, she had wandered away and that a stranger kidnapped and took her life years ago, how she had wandered the mall ever since, searching for her mom. Tears welled up in my eyes as I listened to her tale of loneliness and longing. I reached out, wanting to comfort her, but my hand passed through her form like smoke. "I'm sorry," I said, my voice trembling. "I don't know how to help you." But then she smiled, a smile filled with hope. "You already have," she said. "You've listened, and that's all I needed." And with that, she faded away, leaving me standing alone in the abandoned toy store. I left the mall that night with a newfound respect for the unseen forces that linger among us. The encounter had shaken me to the core, but it had also taught me the power of compassion and empathy. To this day, I can still hear her whispers in the wind, a reminder that not all ghosts are out to scare us. Some just need someone to listen.
That was good. I enjoyed that one. Again, it was nice that it can come to a conclusion that, as I say, not all ghosts or encounters are going to be one that is designed there to scare the living. I know there'll be some people who would go, "Oh, I definitely got a list of people to haunt whenever I die." You know, there'll always be ones they get, but in these circumstances, yes, it's nice just to hear it in a more pleasant way. That, you know, it's a nicer encounter, something that you can just, that they're there to listen, you know. But that was good. Let's check out number 2.
It all started with a dare that led us deep into the heart of an abandoned shopping mall where horrors beyond our imagination awaited. It was a Friday night, and my friends and I were looking for some excitement. We'd heard rumors about the old mall a few miles away, a place long forgotten, overrun by decay and darkness. Some said it was haunted, and this was going to be the night that we found out if it was true. Naturally, we couldn't resist the thrill of the unknown. So we grabbed some flashlights, piled into Stan's car, and headed to the creepy mall. As we pulled into the parking lot, I could feel everyone tense up, but no one wanted to admit it. The building loomed like a shadowy sentinel. We found a way inside through a side entrance, the musty scent of decay greeting us like a warning. The air was thick with silence, broken only by the echo of our footsteps as we navigated the dark corridors. At first, it was all fun and games. We explored abandoned stores, marveled at forgotten relics of the not-too-distant past, and laughed nervously at each other's jitters. But as we delved deeper, the atmosphere grew more oppressive, more sinister. That's when we first saw him, a figure lurking in the shadows just down the corridor, watching us with eyes that glinted in the dim light. He was tall and gaunt, his clothes tattered and filthy, but it was his smile that creeped us out, a smile that held no warmth, no humanity. We tried to ignore him and walked in the opposite direction, dismissing him as just some old, homeless guy camping out in the old mall. But everywhere we went, he seemed to follow us as we explored the maze-like corridors of the mall.
You would start freaking out now.
As time passed, our nerves frayed. We heard strange noises, whispers in the darkness, footsteps that didn't belong to us, and the faint sound of laughter, cold and mocking. Then, things took a terrifying turn. One by one, my friends started disappearing. At first, we thought it was a prank, a game gone too far. But as we searched frantically, calling out their names into the void, we realized the truth. They were gone, taken by the darkness that lurked within the mall. Fear gnawed at our hearts as we realized we were not alone. The creepy man we had seen earlier was hunting us, his presence growing more menacing with each passing moment. We tried to find our way out, but the mall seemed to shift and change, leading us in circles, trapping us in its grasp. And all the while, the man watched from the shadows, his smile widening with every step we took deeper into his domain. Finally, we stumbled upon a room in the lower level next to the men's bathroom. It was a room unlike any other we had seen in the mall. It was filled with old photographs, newspaper clippings, and tattered clothing. And there, in the far corner of the room, we found our missing friends, bound and gagged, their eyes wide with terror. Standing over them was the creepy man, his smile twisted into a grin of triumph. We were paralyzed with fear, unsure of what to do next. But then, in a moment of desperation, I remembered something, a legend I had heard long ago about the mall and its dark history. The man was no ordinary hermit. He was a ghost, a restless spirit trapped in the mall, doomed to relive his final moments for eternity. And those who crossed his path were doomed to share his fate. With newfound courage, I confronted the man, pleading with him to release my friends. At first he laughed, his laughter echoing through the empty halls like a haunting melody. But then something changed in his eyes, a flicker of recognition, of regret. He released my friends one by one, his spectral form fading into the darkness as he whispered a single word, "Forgive." And just like that, the mall was silent once more, its secrets buried in the shadows. We fled, our hearts pounding with a mix of fear and relief, vowing never to return to that cursed place. But the memory of that night lingers, a reminder of the thin line between curiosity and danger, between adventure and horror. And as I share this tale with you, remember to tread carefully in the realms of the unknown, for you never know what darkness awaits. It was
There we are. That kind of, it kind of gave me a vibe as if you'd be listening to a film there. That was a good, it's kind of, I'm sure it's like one of those 90s horror films you probably would have seen where they go in just exploring a mall and then start disappearing one by one. And it's like a hunt on to trying to find out where they are and what's happening, and then you're up against this killer, whether it's otherworldly or not. But sounds like it'd be a good premise there. Anyway, number 3, last one.
the mid-90s, and I was excitedly shopping at the mall for the perfect outfit for an upcoming date. A boy I had a crush on since sophomore year had finally asked me out, and I was so excited. As I perused the racks, trying on different clothes and imagining how I'd look on my date, my excitement started to dwindle. I had this creepy feeling that someone was watching me. It started as a prickling on the back of my neck, a sense that someone's eyes were on me. When I looked around, I saw a guy standing a few racks over looking at me. I brushed it off as paranoia at first, attributing it to the bustling crowd of shoppers. But as I moved from store to store, I noticed the same man lingering nearby, a tall, dark-haired guy with a sinister aura. He kept his distance at first, but his presence felt suffocating, like he was always just a step behind me. I tried to shake him off by weaving through the crowded aisles, but he was persistent, always there, always watching. My heart raced with unease as I made my way to the restroom, hoping to find a moment of respite. But to my horror, after a few seconds, the man followed me inside, his footsteps echoing ominously in the tiled hallway. I hurried into a stall, trying to compose myself as fear gripped my chest. The sound of his heavy breathing outside sent chills down my spine, and I knew I had to act fast. Just as I was about to lock the stall door, he violently kicked it open, and the man's dark silhouette loomed over me. He grabbed me, and I fought back with all the strength I had, kicking and screaming for help as he placed his hand over my mouth. I really thought that it was over for me. No one's going to hear or help me in time. I began to cry and pray. But in that moment of desperation, a miracle happened. A woman walked into the restroom and witnessed the attack. With a fierce cry, she sprang into action, pulling the man away from me and shouting for security. The commotion drew a crowd, and within minutes mall security arrived, apprehending the man and ensuring my safety. As I sat there, shaken but relieved, I couldn't help but wonder what would have happened if that brave woman hadn't walked in when she did. It turned out that the man was a notorious stalker, wanted for similar incidents in the area. He had been lurking in the mall, preying on unsuspecting victims like me. But here's the twist that still sends shivers down my spine. The woman who rescued me wasn't just a bystander. She was an undercover police officer, working to apprehend the stalker and put an end to his reign of terror.
Right.
As I thanked her profusely, tears of gratitude streaming down my face, I couldn't help but feel a mix of emotions: relief, fear, but also immense gratitude for the stranger who became my hero that day.
That was very good, that one, yeah. They obviously were following him for weeks, likely. Stalking him as he was stalking others. But yeah, that was quite good. It was a good ending, at least. So yeah, that was quite a good collection of ones there for mall horror stories. I know there is other ones I haven't seen from him yet, like this. I don't think I've seen this one either. Hidden Dangers, Feeling Fear. There's other ones I haven't seen, so I'll probably keep them going, probably every second Saturday or so, as much as I can. Changing jobs at the minute, so I could be working more later shifts and stuff, so I will get them up as soon as I can, just in case there is weeks where I'm missing one or two. But I'll do my best to keep them going as we head into the summertime, the busy season. But take care of yourselves in the meantime, guys. Head over Twisted Tales, give them some love, let them know I sent you across. Like and subscribe here as well, and let me know if you want to see more of them. Take care, guys. Have a good one. Bye.